Hi folks, I am Liz Gloyn. I am a reader in Latin language and literature in the Department of Classics, and I'm really pleased to be able to talk to you about some of the work I've done on pedagogical scholarship. I am on a teaching and research contract, but working on pedagogical stuff has been a really important part of what I've done all the way through my career. It started very early on, and my early focus in that was how you taught difficult topics in the classics classroom. So many of our texts from the ancient worlds of Greece and Rome, deal with rape, with sexual violence, with deeply sexist, misogynistic attitudes. How do you do this stuff in a classroom sensitively? That's kind of not been a thing. It emerged, came out in an early article I did, which focused on how I taught a class session about Ovid's epic poem, The Metamorphoses, and how you taught rape when it occurred in these texts. Hitherto, the scholarship had been very much using the language of seduction, and we explored, how do you deal with that? And I sort of gave a test case how you might handle that sort of quite difficult, challenging material, especially when you know you're going to have a high proportion of people who've experienced sexual violence in your classroom. A later project looked at commentary work on a Latin passage in the class. I'm a sort of project editor with a project called the Companion to the Worlds of Roman Women, and that has become the basis of some of the independent second year projects in language that we use in classics. More recently, a lot of my work at Royal Holloway has not led to publication, but has still been important for the Royal Holloway context. I ran a workshop with my colleague Becky Jinks on teaching emotionally challenging subjects. That was part of the TALIG programming a couple of years ago and drew on that general theme that I've been interested in all the way through my teaching. I also gamified our intermediate Latin course, and that won a College Excellence Teaching Prize as a way to kind of get students to do the work they needed to do on language outside the classroom. At the moment, I happen to be the joint undergraduate education lead in classics, which means I've got the scope for doing some bigger picture thinking. We've just run 2 focus groups with students who are neurodivergent and students who have reported mental health conditions. Sometimes those students are the same students, but they experience different challenges, to understand what barriers they face towards succeeding in the department and where we might be able to do some of the stuff we already do well more. Some really interesting things have come out of those conversations. I'm very much hoping we're going to be able to push forward some work on that over the coming year, and I hope we'll eventually be able to take that to publication, because how we support our neurodivergent students, how we support our students with mental health conditions, it's not something people are doing. People aren't talking to the students about what they need. There's sort of an assumption that we're doing it right, but actually are there some small changes we can make to make things more accessible, to give that kind of support? So that's the field that I'm currently focusing on. I think it's really exciting, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how it pans out over the next year or two.